Ladies and gentlemen, Senegal and Egypt have completed 120 minutes of playing time. That's the original 90 minutes and an extra 30 minutes over 2 periods of extra time. The Algerian referee has blown his whistle, and now Egypt face Senegal in a penalty shootout for the second time in the World Cup qualifier for 2022 that will be taking place in Qatar. We'll be off to a short break, and best wishes for the Egyptian national team. Ladies and gentlemen, Egypt has crashed out in the World Cup qualifier for the 2022 World Cup taking place in Qatar. Egypt has lost on penalty shootout against Senegal for the second consecutive penalty shootout. Egypt has missed already 3 penalties that included Mohammed and Zizou as well, missing the first 2 penalties. Joining us now over the phone is Dr. Mohammed Fahmy, the sports analyst. Dr. Fahmy, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Fahmy, what is your reaction for Egypt losing the second consecutive penalty shootout to Senegal? Egypt has been trailing the whole match 1-0, playing extra times and then missing 3 penalties in the penalty shootout.
It's great frustration. I mean, Egypt has made it that far in very difficult circumstances, and they played a heroic game throughout. And they made it to the penalty shootout. And when your 2 best players, one of them is one of the best, if not the best in the world, misses his penalty, I mean, he's the first one to take. It's definitely very, disappointing, and definitely affects the whole team negatively, both defensively and going forward. So Shinawi did his role and saved 2 penalties, and the onus was on the players to deliver. But after all, I think they did all that they could, and it's very disappointing and frustrating to lose twice to Senegal on penalties, really.
Mm-hmm. A lot of fingers will be pointed at, obviously, the missed penalties, but also some observers and the spectators would be also looking at Carlos Queiroz' tactics. But these tactics have got us to the African Cup of Nations final, also got us to within touching distance to qualifying for the World Cup in Qatar. What do you think should be the next step? Should we still commit ourselves to manager Carlos Queiroz, or would you think that a change would be needed?
I can't hear you quite well. Can you repeat the question? Yeah, sure.
Well, a lot of people have been quite skeptical about the tactics and the game plan of manager Carlos Queiroz, but his plans has led us to the African Cup of Nations final that also we lost in a penalty shootout, and within a touching distance to qualifying for the World Cup in Qatar in November.
Yes.
Now, do you think the next step should be committing ourselves to manager Carlos Queiroz, or does Egypt need a change?
Yeah, from what I heard, you're talking about the tactics and the game plan, I assume. Well, I don't think really I mean, there's so much that can be expected from the coach and the technical staff in terms of the game plan. And I think in terms of game plan, Egypt planned the game very well in the home game, and then in the away game. First half, of course, I think Senegal were the better side. Second half, Egypt played a very good game. We could have scored. Maybe we should have scored. But then, when extra time happens, physical fitness definitely played a role, and the Egyptian players definitely seemed to be second best in all the 50-50s, the second balls, all the battles throughout the game were won by Senegal. But they withheld. And they kept a clean sheet in the 90 minutes. And then when it comes to penalties, I think it's really mostly about the players. I mean, the coach can only do so much in terms of maybe player selection. And I think it's maybe questionable now, looking back on it, that Salah goes first. I understand that this was done definitely to give the players a bit more confidence with the hope that he will score, but then again, you want, it's usually, and Salah has always been doing that, and most of your best penalty takers anyways are always kept for the last one.
Yes.
So I think it's questionable that he went first, but my guess is that I think most of the other players didn't want to go. So he took upon himself the responsibility and took the first one. Unfortunately, the delivery wasn't that as expected, as we've heard the commentators. We've never seen Salah waste the penalty in that fashion at all.
Dr. Mohammed
Never,
Fahmy,
ever in history. I mean,
I'm
maybe
sorry,
a couple
we're
out
running out of time.
20 or 30 of them.
Dr. Mohammed Fahmy, we're running out of time. Thank you very much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, Egypt won't be going to the World Cup in Qatar in November 2022. Best of luck and wishes for the future endeavors for the Egyptian national team. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this edition of the Daily Debate. Before we go, let us wish the Egyptian national team best of luck next time around. I'm Hani Saif. Thank you for joining us.